Look at those colors.
I wish this moment could last forever.
The lumberjack entered a cave to warm himself, unaware an Apache widow was already living there. Ethan Walker was a tall, broad-shouldered lumberjack in his mid-30s, standing over 6 feet tall with powerful arms built from years of chopping timber in the rugged forests of the American frontier. His weathered face, thick brown beard, piercing blue eyes, and worn leather coat reflected a lifetime of hard work, loneliness, and survival in the wilderness. Known for his honesty, courage, and quiet nature, Ethan preferred the company of forests and mountains over crowded towns. On a bitter winter evening in the Arizona mountains, a violent snowstorm swept across the wilderness, trapping him far from camp and leaving him lost among the frozen ridges. The freezing wind cut through his clothes like knives, and every step became more difficult as snow piled higher around him. Believing he might not survive the night, Ethan desperately searched for shelter until he noticed a narrow cave hidden between towering rocks. Thankful for any refuge from the deadly storm, he hurried inside, gathered dry branches, and lit a fire. As the flames crackled and warmth filled the cave, he believed he was finally safe. What he didn't know was that the cave was already home to someone else. Deep within the shadows watched Nita, a beautiful Apache widow in her early 30s with long black hair, warm bronze skin, striking dark eyes, and a graceful yet strong presence that revealed years of surviving alone in the harsh wilderness. Though her beauty was undeniable, it was her strength, wisdom, and resilience that made her truly remarkable. She wore traditional Apache clothing crafted from animal hide and decorated with handmade beadwork that honored her heritage. For 8 long years, Nita had lived alone in the cave after losing her husband, Korai, a brave Apache warrior who had been killed during a brutal conflict that destroyed much of their village. Heartbroken by his death and unwilling to live among constant reminders of her loss, she retreated into the mountains, where she learned to hunt, fish, gather herbs, and survive entirely on her own. The cave became her sanctuary, protecting her from both nature and the painful memories of her past. When she finally stepped into the firelight, Ethan immediately recognized that she was Apache, while Nita carefully studied the exhausted stranger who had unknowingly entered her home. Although both were cautious, neither sensed evil in the other. After a tense conversation, Nita allowed Ethan to remain until the storm passed. Over the following days, as the blizzard raged outside, the two shared meals beside the fire and slowly began telling each other their stories. Ethan spoke about growing up without a family, spending most of his life working in forests and lumber camps, while Nita shared stories about Apache traditions her late husband and the deep connection her people had with the land. As the days passed, the loneliness both had carried for years slowly began to fade. Ethan admired Nita's intelligence, courage, and kindness beneath her guarded exterior, while Nita respected Ethan's honesty, patience, and gentle heart. Just as trust was beginning to grow between them, a group of ruthless bandits discovered the cave while searching the mountains for supplies and easy victims. The outlaws entered the cave demanding food, weapons, and anything valuable. When their leader threatened Nita, she reacted instantly, revealing the fierce warrior spirit she had inherited from her people. A violent fight erupted as Ethan used his immense strength to battle the attackers, while Nita skillfully defended herself using her hunting knife and knowledge of the cave's narrow passages. Together they fought bravely and eventually forced the bandits to flee into the snowy wilderness. Though injured, they survived, and during Nita's recovery Ethan remained by her side, caring for her wounds and helping with daily tasks. Weeks turned into months, and as winter gradually gave way to spring, their friendship blossomed into something far deeper. For the first time since losing her husband, Nita allowed herself to imagine a future filled with happiness, while Ethan realized he had finally found a place where he truly belonged. One evening, while standing together outside the cave and watching the sunset paint the mountains in shades of gold and crimson, Ethan admitted that when he entered the cave, he thought he was simply seeking warmth from a storm, but instead he had found a reason to start living again. Touched by his words, Nita confessed that she had spent years hiding from the world because of her grief, but Ethan had reminded her that life still held beauty, hope, and love. In the years that followed, they built a sturdy log cabin near the cave and created a peaceful life together among the mountains. Travelers occasionally heard stories about a powerful lumberjack and a courageous Apache widow who lived in the wilderness, helping lost strangers and protecting those in need. Most believed the stories were legends, but those who met them knew the truth. Their remarkable journey began on a freezing winter night, when a lonely lumberjack entered a cave seeking warmth, completely unaware that an Apache widow was already living there, and neither could have imagined that the unexpected encounter would forever change both of their lives.